I'm going to be turning 43 this year, and I think it's time for a midlife crisis. I'm going to switch to Mac. Hi, I'm Jared Hoyman with VisibleTour.com, and welcome to this moment, this pivotal moment in my life. I am turning 43 this year, only in a few months, and this is my midlife crisis. I have been a PC user for my whole life, my entire life. I have never been a Mac user. Even in school, I avoided it. Now I think I'm actually going to switch. I don't know how it's going to happen. I don't know exactly which computer of the Mac lineup that I'm going to. I have it narrowed down to a few. I'm going to share those with you. But in this little confession and admission, I hope that there are some Mac people out there that can kind of lean me towards the right direction. And if you're a PC person and you hate Mac, well, stick around because I want you to hear this in my point of view on it and why I do want to switch to a Mac this year. Also, I want you to leave your comments below, and I want Mac people to leave their comments below because I think there's a lot of good dialogue because there's pros and cons to both, right? There's not one perfect system, but there is a system that may work better for one person than another. And in my workflow, I'm thinking that the Mac is the best way to go. My decision to move to Mac this year has really stemmed from what my decision a few months ago was. It's been a domino effect, and that was switching from Premiere Pro to DaVinci Resolve. DaVinci Resolve is amazing. I love it. I'm not looking back at Premiere Pro. I don't miss it at all. I have noticed that now that I've switched to DaVinci Resolve, I learned that platform. I realized it's not that difficult to learn new things, even for an old dog like myself. So how hard would it be to move into a Mac? Well, the reason I'm looking at Mac is Mac operates amazingly with the M1 chip and the M2 chip. It just runs well. It just operates well. It renders well. It uses less RAM. It just works smoothly with those M1 and M2 chips. That is super attractive to me. The other thing is I do podcast voiceover, and my computer is super loud. And I've actually never had a computer in the last decade that hasn't been loud. The fans constantly run. I mean, listen to it right now. That is really loud. I mean, try recording audio and doing voiceover and you hear that humming in the background, that loud noise. When I'm video editing, my computer is just heating up my entire office. It is hot in there and the fans just keep running over and over. But if you move to a Mac, whether it is the laptop or the Mac Studio, those things just are pretty quiet. If you're doing live streaming or voiceovers, well, I think the Mac is the best way to go because these PCs, well, they're all going to be loud. Even the laptops are going to have some loud fans in them as well. So again, here are the big reasons why I'm heading over to the Mac world. And then I'm going to tell you kind of which Macs I'm looking at. And maybe you can leave your comment below if you have experience with these Macs and let me know because, well, I'm kind of a novice. There's going to be a learning curve once I move over here, but I'm willing to do that. I'm really excited. So really, it comes down to efficiency. I'm looking for something that's efficient with the video editing software I use. Also, I'm kind of excited to try out Final Cut Pro, especially since it works well with raw footage when it comes to Atomos Ninja. So the Atomos Ninja uses ProRes, and especially now that the R6 Mark II is going to be using ProRes RAW 6K, and it's going to operate amazingly. Unfortunately, it isn't going to operate well or at all on DaVinci Resolve until they actually give us those kind of codecs. So I am excited to try out and utilize Final Cut Pro for that. So to have the efficiency of the M1 and M2 chip, the quietness of the computer, the small footprint. I mean, right now, my computer is about 50 pounds. It weighs a ton. To move it, it's just not conducive for what I want. The Macs are small, whether it's the Mac Studio or the MacBook or the MacBook Air. They're all very small and you can move them around pretty easily. So that gets into the ones that I'm kind of playing back and forth with. And this is where I do want your opinion. So if you can leave a comment below, that would help me out greatly. And I do really listen to these comments and I will take them to heart. So I'm going to tell you the first option is actually the one that I'm really leaning towards, and that is to do the Mac Studio. So I'm thinking of just doing the Mac Studio, the entry one for $2,000. It's the Max. It does what I want. I can utilize all my old, which makes it pretty easy for me to kind of transition over. Then if I need mobility, I would actually get the MacBook Air, and then I can do some editing offline, then bring it over to the studio and finish things up that way. So I was thinking of doing both, and that way I had the mobility and then I had the thing that's stationary. That was my first thought. The other option is to get the M2 Max MacBook and just really soup it up. But then I'm doubling at least what I need. So that's gonna be $4,000, but I do have that mobility and I can use it stationary if I wanted to. I think it might be an overkill. I kind of like the idea of spending that same amount of money or less by doing the Mac Studio and adding on the MacBook Air for that mobility and something light and small when I'm on the go. Those are my thoughts. I might be missing one completely. I've been researching this like crazy for the last couple of months. My wife has been making fun of me because for the longest time I said I will never go to Mac. Mac sucks with video editing. 10 years ago that did. It did. And even 5 years ago, it wasn't even that great. The RTXs have been amazing. But now with the new M1 and M2 chip, well, I had to, admit that I might be wrong, that this would be the best route to go, is to go in the Apple direction. So if you're an Apple person, encourage me, tell me why I'm doing the right thing moving over to Apple. If you were Apple, now you're PC. I have not heard that, but if you are, tell me why you left Apple and went to PC. My assumption is people are Apple and they stick to Apple. I'm willing to try different things. I'm coming from the outside, so I expect more people that are in Apple are not leaving Apple, but I could be wrong. I would love to hear your opinion on that. If you want to see a middle-aged guy struggle from PC to Mac, but really trying his hardest, well, subscribe, because I'm sure there's going to be a lot more videos talking about this and my transition from PC to Mac. And will I keep my PC? Yes, I will keep my PC. I will keep my PC probably in a specific location in my basement and use it as a server and as a backup because I have amazing, awesome network storage on it, and that will probably utilize that since my other issue I'm coming up with the Mac is storage. I'm probably gonna have to invest in a NAS system, and that would be another journey I'm gonna have to take as well. Boy, this is gonna get expensive. But if you haven't already, please subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.